The fight is done. We lost. Stay hidden.
The key to hunting Jedi is patience. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail. The Jedi Code is like an itch. He cannot help it. Where is he?
Hello, Star Wars fans. Thank you for all your incredible support and response to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have some important news. Our premiere date is moving just a couple of days from Wednesday to Friday, May the 27th. But here's the exciting part. The first 2 episodes will premiere together. So make sure you tune in to both episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, streaming Friday, May the 27th, exclusively on Disney+. The first time I got to watch Star Wars, I was pretty blown away. Alec Guinness, as Obi-Wan Kenobi, did some of the most amazing work. To play him as a younger man, I was really excited about it. The first big experience for me was going to the studio where we shot episode 1. The props master brought up a big chest, and he looked me in the eye and he opened it up. And I got to choose Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
This is my favorite one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So that was a moment I'll never forget. The first lightsaber work we did was when we fight Darth Maul. That was an amazing thing to be part of. It was incredibly intricate. We were just going so fast.
Action!
It's quite unlike any other filmmaking I've done. The first time I got dressed up as Obi-Wan again, it was a special moment. The wonder of Star Wars and the excitement of playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's really quite something.
Master.
Coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
And we are live, yes we are, with another episode, episode 6 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi Aftershow. I am your host, Dimitri Pereira, and this is a show brought to you by The Key, where we watch Obi-Wan Kenobi and we talk about it right after. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi came out at midnight. We are here at 1 a.m. Pacific time to talk about it. I'm your host. We also got co-host Matthew Morey. Matthew, how you doing today?
I'm doing good now, especially after watching that.
After watching that,
Yeah.
that was an episode. That was an episode.
Yes. Emphasis on the epi.
Like an EpiPen? No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah. We got special guest tonight, Star Wars lawyer coming at us from Eastern Time Zone. It's even later over there. Chris, how you doing?
Hello, what have we here? I am tired, but I am emotionally devastated and satisfied at the same time.
That's good. Emotionally devastated and satisfied. Like all my dates and I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Chris, let's get to the nitty-gritty. How do you feel? Okay, strike this episode aside. I want to know what your thoughts about this series as a whole was going into episode 6. How have you been liking it?
I've been enjoying the series, letting it see where it played out. Most of my issues, I think, come down to Disney Plus's clinging to the idea that we need to have this 6-episode series formula, which I'm like, you could do a few more episodes, especially if you're ranging from 34 minutes to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think the writing has been really well done. Give Deborah Chow more Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Did she do Mandalorian?
Yeah, she did a couple episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. She was in that director's roundtable that they did, right? Like that one Mandalorian thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Did she do all these episodes?
Yes, she directed all the episodes.
Great. It's so weird to me that there aren't more female directors getting high profile gigs. It's kind of a weird idea. Like what? Like men are better at directing? That's a weird notion to have. And it's weird that like Bryce Dallas Howard is coming out and like Deborah Chow is coming out and like, yeah, obviously, let's have some more. Let's have some more of that.
Yeah.
She did all the episodes. Okay. like, could this series have been longer? Could it have been shorter and been a movie? It's kind of a weird spot. It was 6 episodes, and I was like, oh, okay. It obviously knew where it wanted to go.
I feel like the only way you could have effectively made it a movie and had it hit the same. All right, you can't even say hit the same ones. I think you would have to remove really Reva and the Inquisitors out of it.
Oh.
If you wanted to make it a movie, because I don't see how you have that subplot in there and have it be as tied to the main plot without, letting it flesh itself out.
You'd have to take out the whole Temple Inquisitorius or whatever. What's it called?
Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yeah, Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yeah.
You'd have to take that whole thing out, I think, to get it down to that. Yeah. Matthew, though, Matthew, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I get we all want Star Wars movies, but I feel like it comes up a lot. It's like, how do they make the choice of whether to do like a Star Wars TV show or Star Wars movie? I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi would have been a movie, like would have been an easy choice.
Yeah. I think it would have been a very successful movie as far as people would have gone to show up to see it. More than Solo, I would imagine probably. I don't know why I think that. I just do. Yeah. I think it could have worked as a movie. I don't know about removing the Inquisitors because a lot of this was kidnapping Leia, and like that's kind of like what drove the whole show. But I mean, you could have somebody else kidnap her and solve that problem.
Sebulba.
And
it could just be bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Just a regular bounty hunter kind of thing.
Somehow bridge Darth Vader, or not even Darth Vader. I don't know. I mean, a lot of it seemed like it was this show was Obi-Wan battling with forgiving himself and getting rid of the pressure he's felt like that. So I think they could have made it a movie and it had a pretty overlying arc with this character. Yeah, it would have been a good movie.
I find it interesting that people have been talking about this show and not liking the buildup, kind of the slow buildup. I'm sure, Chris, we've seen it on TikTok, like the essential misunderstanding of what an episode is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's an overall arc for Obi-Wan to go through, at least in a movie with a 2-hour time limit, you're stuck there, you watch the whole 2 hours and whatever. But if you were to split up those 2 hours into 30 minutes, I'm sure each 30-minute would feel different. Think about it like A New Hope, for instance. If you split it up into fourths, I'm sure each fourth would feel different. And what some of them might be like, all right, when are they getting out of this cantina?
Mm-hmm. I mean, essentially, we're getting a trilogy in these around 6 hours of a series. So it would be almost like, if people were, saying where is this show going after, episode 4? It's like, okay, that's like watching the original trilogy and stopping after Empire and be like, well, I don't know how the rebels can come back from this. I'm just going to not watch the next movie.
Right.
It's just, or, not watching Revenge of the Sith and being like, well, I don't know how Anakin becomes Darth Vader based on what we just watched. So I guess we're done here.
Sense. Yeah.
Right. I think that's one thing that binging has taken away from people is the ability to let shows develop. And it'd be one thing if they were 20 episode things like Young Justice.
Yeah.
Is something that streams that has that many episodes. But Stranger Things this last season or part of a season, I binged it. I regret it because there was so much to unpack there. I feel like you needed to take more time with the episodes. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same thing here. You need that week break to discuss, to dissect, and talk about what's to come. And if you want those big ooh and ah moments, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't let that want dominate your expectations to the point where if you don't get it or don't get it soon enough, it's over for you.
Yeah. I think okay, we use the term binging interchangeably, but really it's two things. Binging is a personal choice. Some people wait for a whole season. Like, I'm sure there are people who didn't watch Obi-Wan Kenobi right now, and now that 6 episodes are out, they're like, okay, I'm going to binge it. But then there's bulk release, which is what Netflix does, right? Like, Netflix doesn't say, technically, you have to binge it. But by bulk releasing all the episodes at once, then they're saying, like, well, nobody's going to be thinking, like, Stranger Things, for instance, nobody's going to watch episode 3 of this season and then talk about episode 3. You can't do that. You can't do that with Daredevil on Netflix or any of the Marvel Netflix shows. You can't watch episode 3, talk about episode 3, wait, what, you just sit on it and then wait and then do episode 4, talk about that. So Obi-Wan Kenobi just seems slower because we're not seeing it unfold in one sitting. But I've liked it. I have wondered where it was going and what more I wanted from it. But this episode paid off, and having faith in the whole thing from start to finish is kind of a lesson learned, you know?
Yeah, it's just let the story play out. It'd be one thing if this was like a 15 episode thing and you're sitting here after episode 4 or 5 like,
right,
I don't know if I can make it through 10 more episodes of this. But if you're through episode 4 and you're just like, man, what's going to happen in these next 2 episodes? Is like, you can't wait 2 weeks. You can't wait 2 weeks to watch 90 minutes worth of content.
Right.
You know, like you've done it before, especially if you're like anywhere in our age range. You've been watching TV for a long time.
Right.
You know how to wait.
Right. Like Gen Z, maybe they're like, why can't I watch it all at once? Maybe. But for us, shows like network TV used to be the biggest thing, the only thing.
Yeah.
And you watch something, you wait a week. And in that week, though, TV culture is about like talking about each episode and like you'll watch Westworld, and Westworld's 1 episode at a time, and you watch it and you think about it and you're like, are they robots? Are they not? Here are my theories. Let's talk about it with my friend or my coworker or whatever. And like Obi-Wan has given us that, which is nice. The ability to talk, and not only the ability to talk about it, the ability to meme about it. We're like WandaVision coming out once a week gave us the ability to meme everything. Sometimes too much. But like Marvel Disney Plus shows have given us that opportunity to like, we can meme everything now. Every single week. Boys is the same way. The gross stuff that goes on in that show can be memed week after week now. And now we get 1 day of like everybody watching the episode and then 6 days of memes, jokes, and then set up for the next one. Let's talk about this episode though, because I gotcha. It starts off. Wait, how does it start off? What's the opening scene of this episode?
Reva on Tatooine.
Is that what it
guy
is?
with the water? Yeah.
Okay. Like I was expecting her to be like, "Remember me?" Like, does nobody recognize her? Or
I low-key wanted her to just like yeet the dude that was just like, "You got something to say?"
Yeah.
I low-key wanted to just be like, just give him a little nice little force push.
Yeah. I don't understand how she got to Tatooine so quick, because if we're talking about the ship taking off, Obi-Wan's ship going, the Star Destroyer following Obi-Wan's ship, Obi-Wan's fight with Vader, and then Obi-Wan just like booking it back to Tatooine.
Well, yeah, we don't know how long that chase went on for. That chase seemed like it went on longer than what we saw on screen.
That's
Plus,
true.
they're both going slow because the ship can go fast enough to be outside the range for the tractor beam, but not fast enough that it can actually escape it.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. I knew that somebody would make sense of the time, but for me, it was like, huh.
Let's get back at later on. Remind me, a slow moving ship chasing after another ship.
Oh, for Last Jedi?
when we get there.
Yeah. Mr. Plows in the comments being like, no one can outrun a kid for some reason in this show.
All I was saying is, as someone that was a camp counselor who has 4 nieces, like if a little kid makes a break from you and you're not prepared, they're gone.
Yeah.
It's startup time, right? It takes some time to get all this mass moving.
Yeah.
And kids are more nimble. I remember when my dad took me to go get the flu shot, for that year. It was like outside in like a thing or whatever, and like I booked it and I ran, and like there was a big tree and I ran to the other side of the tree, and he would run around one side and I'd just run around the other side. And he couldn't catch me. In the end, I forget, maybe one of us got tired maybe or something, and I was like, all right, I guess I get the shot. So we see Reva on Tatooine, and like I keep thinking like, what is gonna happen? Because last time we talked about it at the end of last episode, with Nidra. Nidra was here, and my thing was, I was like, Reva's gonna go and kill Luke, or try to kill Luke. That's her purpose. She sees the thing and she's gonna kill. But like, no, like. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Did you think that was her plan?
Yeah, we didn't know if she explicitly knew that he was going to be Luke Skywalker, but it seems like she pieced it together based on the information from the message. Because why else would Bail want to fly to Tatooine to talk to Owen, and the importance of Vader knowing about it, and with Obi-Wan being Anakin's master, she had enough context clues to at least know that the kid would be important.
Yeah.
And like she said, she wanted justice, but what she really wanted was revenge.
Yeah. I there's so many steps in the plan that, like, what if there was another guy named Owen? We're just a random kid. She's just chasing after the random kid. It's like the name's Marty Owen. Marty,
a farmer. You have to have 2 farmers named Owen. Come on, man.
Yeah, one's the first name, one's the last name. Like there's Owen Lars, and then there's old Marty Owen over there.
Be like, does he have a kid?
Yeah. I don't know. Like she breaks in and she's like, okay, this wasn't the. It's like looking through the phone book. Back in the day. She got the wrong guy. Then, okay, so we're dealing with Obi-Wan on the ship. And something that, like, I had mentioned earlier is that, like, my belief is that, like, in A New Hope, Obi-Wan, after he, like, when he's fighting Vader, he knows his purpose is done. Like, he got Luke and Leia together, and they're getting out of there. And, like, he's like, okay, I can, like, he kind of sees ahead, and he's just like, okay, I have done my part, and that's why it was so easy for him to go. He didn't fight to like go save them again, but I felt that with his talking with Leia in this. It was just like, my job's to get you out there, get you back, and that's it.
The future will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And also it ties into the last episode with the flashback. He was so focused on Obi-Wan that he missed that the 2 biggest threats to the Empire are escaping.
Wait, who?
In A New Hope. When Vader's focused only on Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And his kids. Like, he didn't even bother to, like... Because, like, Jedis do this thing where it's like, according to the plot, it's like, oh, I sensed something specific and important to the plot. But then Vader's just kind of lumbering around, like, not sensing that his kids are there. None of that, because he's just very focused.
The Force didn't want him to know.
No.
Yeah, it's like the Emperor said. He's too clouded by his fascination over Obi-Wan. So I like that. It's a good point.
Yeah.
And then when the Force was ready for him to let him know, he's like, "Sister, you have a twin." Sister.
Does he say it like that?
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on rewatching A New Hope and the original trilogy after this? Kind of see how it's fitting in?
I'm already in the middle of it, man.
To be honest, I want to rewatch all the films. I was thinking that earlier today. I was like, man, I think it's time for a good trilogy rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I already told you, I've been watching at the one of the local theaters. They've been doing the original trilogy. So
did you get there too, right?
Yeah. So this past weekend was Empire Strikes Back. This coming weekend's Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll try to get to Return of the Jedi also, and then I'll see.
I like how the things that people were bringing up in A New Hope, about A New Hope, they're like, what's going on with this show? Like one of them, oh, what's up, Nidra? Nidra says shambles. Are you in shambles? Is that what's going on here? I mean, yes, I almost cried. Okay, we'll get to that. I want to go, but like, so when they mentioned like, oh, last time, you were the, what's the quote? You were the master, I was the apprentice, whatever. But I've learned a lot.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah. Is that in reference to this scene?
Mm-hmm.
As they duke it out?
Yeah, it's got to be, right? I mean,
yeah.
That was, as far as we know.
Yeah.
That's the last time they saw each other.
Yeah.
Unless there's season 2 coming.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't have Vader in season 2 if they do a season 2.
No. Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't put that way either.
I would love to just have like Obi-Wan just like go from planet to planet up until like 30 minutes before he has to save Luke from the Tuskens. Like in A New Hope, he just got back from his flight. You know, he's been out like doing like random Jedi stuff, and then it's like, oh, Tatooine's his summer home. You know?
Yeah. How come every time I leave the planet, I have to come back to save you?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. Let's talk about this fight between Darth Vader and Anakin. Metaphorically speaking, maybe, but Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. Was it everything we dreamed of?
I mean,
yeah, just about, minus really one thing, which would have been a little bit more pleading on Obi-Wan's case to Anakin.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that is because in Return of the Jedi, Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you do. And we don't really get a lot of that in the Revenge of the Sith fight.
Yeah.
He is arguing with him, but he's not believing that there is still good in him.
Yeah.
And we still don't really see that here. Like we see that a little bit. We had to see it at some point, because otherwise I would think if Lucas were to change things post prequels, it would be well, I mean, yeah, I guess now in the comics he does know that Padme thought there was good in him.
Yeah. I saw a parallel between, well, each episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi's show has had parallels with the corresponding movie episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been a thing. So this was the final fight between Luke and Vader, but I feel like Luke comes at him with love at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Obi-Wan kind of doesn't in this. He gives up on him. He calls him Darth.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks his helmet like I saw kind of like, you see his face kind of in a sense like in Return of the Jedi, but he doesn't appeal to his love of him.
I don't know how well this will show up, but this is what I was making on Photoshop.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what? Wait. Oh, okay.
From Rebels. So
yeah.
Ahsoka broke the right side of his mask. Obi-Wan broke the left side of his mask. The only one that could take off the mask and save him was Luke.
Okay, Mr. Filoni.
They halfway got to him. That's cool.
I always think that like when Filoni talks about Star Wars, he's amazing and he believes in Star Wars so much. But I keep wanting to be like, oh, it cuts to George Lucas be like, I just thought it looked cool. And then Filoni's like, oh yeah, battling for the souls and blah, blah, blah. And Lucas is like, I mean, laser swords go pew, pew, you know? But yeah, no, I mean, that's a good way to look at things. The left and the right and the whole, you know?
Getting back to the point about the, the place of love, he definitely looked like it was hurting him that he was fighting him, right? He was like crying.
Who was?
Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah,
Obi-Wan, yeah. He was crying. And again, he just like left him for dead, I guess, or didn't kill him.
Didn't kill him. He threw
that's a little confusing to me.
Rocks at him, though.
I mean, like, he knows he didn't learn his lesson from Revenge of the Sith. Like,
yeah, he didn't kill him in Revenge of the Sith.
But I think he left him for dead.
Yeah, I think the difference was, I think in Revenge of the Sith, he thinks he's gonna die. He just doesn't have the strength to put him out of his misery. Yeah. He thinks that like he's just gonna die there. And I think in this one, it goes back to the last episode where Reva asked, is that really what you want, to kill Anakin? And Obi-Wan doesn't answer. He kind of like breathes out a little bit and looks down because he still doesn't.
Yeah.
Even, saying, like, either he dies or I do, Master. Either way, this ends today. Yeah. And that resolve weakened as soon as he saw his face.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Plow says they were brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's hard for him, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he could do it. I don't think he would have been able to,
Still talking about that fight scene. Just want to talk about some like symbolic stuff with Vader piling the rocks on top of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like literally, it's like what's symbolic of the guilt of turning Anakin into Vader is weighing down on him. Mm-hmm. And when he saw the future and everything, to let go of the past and push the weight. Yeah, he had visions of Leia and Luke while he was in under the rock pile. So not from the series. Yeah, from the series. And then understanding
what? Did I
that
miss something? What the hell did I miss?
So when he was like in the rock pile, right?
Yeah.
They were flashing to like images or little clips of Luke and Leia, like not together, separately, running around doing whatever they do.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, like from that he's seen from the series.
Yeah. So as he was thinking that, he pushed through the rocks.
Like the reason worth fighting, right?
So he's letting go of the weight of the past and the guilt. He's pushing it off for the future.
For the future, okay.
Which is Luke and Leia.
I thought he calls them the future. I thought you were bringing up like when Bruce Willis dies in Armageddon, like where he sees his daughter's wedding. I thought you were, and I'm like, did I?
Oh, something like that.
Did I blink at the wrong time where he sees like them?
I didn't mean like he literally saw the future. I meant he saw that Luke and Leia are the future.
Okay, not Bruce Willis in Armageddon. But yeah, okay, with Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, symbolic. What's the symbolism of Obi-Wan Kenobi turning OP and just like throwing like a billion rocks at Vader? Are all those rocks the mistakes that Vader made throughout his life, hitting them one by one?
I think you're going a little too far, Dimitri.
Oh, okay.
I think he's like obviously that's one of those ooh moments here, just like oh my god. But I think that is a version of Obi-Wan that is cutting loose that only Anakin could bring out in him.
Yeah.
Because it's just the raw emotional damage of fighting your brother, the one you raised, the one that was entrusted to you, and feeling free of the shackles of the guilt that you have felt for the past 10 years that you had failed him. And seeing that he owned up to his own failure and was like, the future is where I need to focus on now.
Yeah. Anakin also said that you didn't fail me. No, what did he say?
I am not your failure.
Yeah. And then he followed it up with,
you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
Yeah. So that kind of alleviates a little bit of Obi-Wan's guilt. Because is that Anakin saying, like, I take responsibility for my own downfall, my own dark side turn?
Yeah.
That's a little self-aware for Anakin.
I mean,
I feel like everybody, right?
Yeah, but you don't really see that in the original trilogy. Mostly because I don't think Lucas didn't have that gamed out yet. But like in Return of the Jedi, he's saying it's too late for me, son. I must obey my master.
Yeah.
He feels like there's no way out.
Right.
So in that transition to getting there, he's just like, no, these are the choices that I made.
Mm.
Or it's another way of saying you don't get to take credit for this, Obi-Wan.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like Darth Vader's his reaction to the Jedi, right? So not necessarily their failure so much as it is because he feels like he's doing the right thing, right? From his point of view, the Jedi are evil, right? Mm-hmm. So if you think you're doing the right thing, you're doing it because it's something you want to do, not somebody else's failure, right?
I don't know whether he believes that everything he does is the right thing. I think that it's just the easiest thing. Sometimes you do what's easy, even though it's not right. You're just like, it's whatever. I'm cutting corners here.
Easy, but he's justifying to himself that it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting corners, cutting younglings, same thing, right? He's taking the easy way out. I mean, what's
not to say any youngling though. He's going after Jedi, right?
Right. Right.
Well,
I'm sure Vader has killed regular kids before too, right?
Yeah, well, he did in the series, right? Or at least
he wasn't a kid, right? It was like a
pushing people's side.
Well, no, he like snapped that kid's neck, right? It wasn't a kid, but like a young.
No, it was a kid.
Was it a kid?
It straight up looks like a kid. I haven't seen anybody say it was an adult.
Teenager at the oldest.
A teenager, right? Yeah. Mr. Plow is a Vader apologist. Is that what he's doing out there? Mr. Plow in the comments says Vader is a better person the less time he spends around Palpatine and corporate empire bureaucrats. Are we just like, oh, it's not Vader, it's the friends he hangs out with. You need to stop hanging out with these hooligans. I
don't know. I'm saying it's Vader.
I've never been a Vader apologist.
I just look at, Revenge of the Sith. Palpatine says, Darth Plagueis taught me everything. He figured out how to save people from dying. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Anakin chops off Mace's limb and Mace has a shocking fall.
Yeah. Which he's still alive. He's just hanging out, biding his time.
He's just chilling in a bacta tank.
Yeah.
Palpatine says
he fell right out the window into a bacta tank. It all worked out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the pun, the shocking fall. That's good.
Thanks. Palpatine says, we will discover this power together. If I'm Anakin, I'm stopping. I'm like, wait, you said you had the answer. What do you mean discover the power together? I thought you had. Yeah. Force push him out the window. I was like, all right, see what happened. I saw they were both fighting and they took each other out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you don't have my money? No. I'm going to get you your money. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm like, Anakin, he's playing you. He literally just said he doesn't have the answer.
What?
Like, why can't I? He's like, why can't I figure out this answer with the Jedi then?
Yeah.
If you don't have it, there are a lot more of them than there are you.
Well, I mean, the Emperor does say something. You know the quotes. It's just like some deemed unnatural. What is it?
The dark side of the Force is
Something dark side.
Some consider to be. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities. Some consider to be unnatural.
There it is.
There it is. The Jedi wouldn't do that, you know? They would just be...
but also, Padme is a senator. If you're like, hey, I had a vision. If you go to tell like her people, hey, I had a vision that she was going to die in childbirth. They're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to have the best medical team available for her instead of her having her babies on a floating asteroid.
Yeah.
With medical droids that had never really operated on humans. Like,
the problem is, and this comes... Why am I frozen? You guys hear me?
Yeah, I see you in here.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, cool. It's just the broadcast.
Yeah, the broadcast.
Okay, now we're good. The broadcast, we didn't drop frames either. That's weird. Anyway, the thing is, and we see this in real life, so I'm going to tie this in with real life, is when you have cheaters, when you have secrets, when you have these big things that you're trying to hide from people, people want to have their cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin wants to save Padme, keep everything secret, be a Jedi Master, join the Council, be the greatest Jedi there ever was. He wants to do everything, even though some of those things contradict each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I think conceding and going to Naboo and being like, well, Padme's pregnant, it's my kid, or even just Padme's pregnant, I don't know whose kid it is kind of weird and kind of giving it away at that point, right?
Well, I think post Clone Wars, like Ahsoka had a vision about Aura Singh trying to kill Padme, and no one thought anything differently because there wasn't anything there. And, you know, Anakin has known Padme for, at that point, like 13 years. So it would make sense that if she's close to him, that he would have that vision. So, I mean, granted, I think Padme would be able to sell the story better than Anakin because Padme has a better head on her shoulders when it comes to being subtle.
Yeah.
And so like Anakin would probably burst in the room like, oh my God, Padme's pregnant with my kid and she's gonna die. And Padme is just looking at like, what the hell, dude?
I just it's kind of the trope when it comes to these kind of like secrets in soap operas and this and whatever is the classic like I mean in Shakespeare it's like sometimes it helps to just tell everybody your secrets and then wouldn't that just like prevent like bad things from happening? But no, you want to keep your secrets and get what you want. And so you know we have this fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin that cuts back and forth. Is this normal? In episode 3, did they cut back and forth between the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin to another scene? Because they did in this one.
Yoda and Sidious.
Oh, that was happening at the same time?
They did Return of the Jedi too.
Yep.
Between the Death Star scenes and...
Yeah.
Okay.
And Empire. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens at what happens with what are they going back and forth with?
Lando and Leia and Chewie.
Oh.
Yeah,
like
trying to get Han back and then escape in the Falcon.
Okay. So it is normal. Why does it seem abnormal to me? Is it because they were kind of different vibes of scenes?
Yeah. Like you're on a completely different planet. You're seeing two people fight, two Force users fight versus, you know, a wounded Force user fighting two farmers.
Right.
And then Michael. Right. And then Michael Myers chasing a child through the desert.
Right. Right.
It might be jarring since I don't feel like we've seen it recently.
Din Djarin?
Also, the music was different. Because in Revenge of the Sith, it's the Battle of the Heroes throughout both fights.
Okay.
And then in Return of the Jedi, they're both battle scenes. So the music is still intense. And I think in Empire, there is more silence in the Luke and Vader fight versus when they're trying to go get Han. Yeah. So I think that'd probably be the more close parallel to this one.
Okay. What do we think about the whole Riva storyline here?
I'm happy though it ended the way it did, because I think one thing that Star Wars likes to do with its villains, besides maybe like Iden Versio, is that the villains, when they decide what they're doing is wrong, they redeem themselves in one swift act and then they die. You know, Vader and Kylo Ren, to think specifically. I want them. So my favorite manga is Rurouni Kenshin. Okay. And it's essentially a journey of his atonement for his past actions. And it manifests itself in, prior to the series, him going throughout his country and doing essentially like saving the people in his purview using his skills. Riva can do something like that. And then if, something big happens where she needs to help more people than she can, but going across the galaxy, helping force sensitive kids or just random passerbys would be something to atone for hunting force sensitives, hunting Jedi for the past 10 years.
Right. I think it's interesting when we're watching the original trilogy, we just assume that the Jedi are all dead. But we only see a small fraction of the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Like now we know that there's a what's it called? What's this kind of funneling Jedi system?
The path.
The path is here, so we know that they've saved Jedi or Force sensitive users. Where did they go? We don't know, but it's not because they didn't go anywhere. They went somewhere. We just don't know yet, right?
Hopefully, they didn't all go to Alderaan.
Yeah,
that'd
be on the I was on Chaco and Elements watch along.
Yeah.
And when they showed Alderaan, like after Leia was back on there, I was like, it's a nice planet you got there. It'd be a shame if someone blew it up. But I think one of the things that's been consistent in both EU and canon is that there have been multiple Jedi that survived Order 66, even notable ones. So they had to go somewhere, and some of them are long-living species. Like Yaddle is still alive somewhere, as far as we know. Yeah. She has no confirmed death in canon. She did in Legends, but not in canon. Yeah. And then Opal Rancisis is still alive, and he was at least alive through the High Republic, so we don't know how long his species lasts. So he could still be around. And he has no confirmed canon death. And then you have other like humanoid species that can, die by the time the sequels roll around. Right. But, it's just there were over 10,000 Jedi. They didn't get them all.
Yeah. Did anyone want Obi-Wan to train Riva? No? Okay. He's done training, right? He would never, I don't think he would train again, right?
What does she need training?
Yeah, I was gonna say. What?
I don't know. She wasn't properly trained though, right? She was a youngling when she quote unquote died. And then had Inquisitor training because she's force sensitive. Yeah,
so I think, if anything he was going to help her on, it would be tempering those dark side impulses.
Yeah.
But that's not something as much that Obi-Wan can really help her on, because he hasn't been in that same situation that she has. Someone that would probably have to help her with that would be someone like Quinlan Voss. Someone that has been on the dark side and was an agent of the dark side. Not as long as she was, but still for a time.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I just wanted to add Riva discussion. I would say I am very satisfied with her character arc. I think it's probably the best part of the show, to be honest with you. It was really good seeing her. Kind of fit in with the theme too of I guess atonement and forgiving yourself, right?
Yeah.
So at the end, starting to cry. I feel like we don't see a lot of crying in Star Wars. So it's kind of nice to see somebody like like cry,
Mm-hmm.
and really
Sometimes Star
feel
Wars
the
plays it
emotion.
too
You know,
cool, right?
Yeah.
you'll get a little tear. Ray
Mhm.
cried in the Last Jedi.
Padme
But-
cried when she died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
But,
was
like-
that was too over the top too. You're breaking my heart, Anakin. Like
that's true. Yeah.
it was like
I mean, this felt good. This felt like real.
Mm.
It's good to see that. You know,
yeah.
I liked it.
But like Luke, when his aunt and uncle die, he's just kind of quiet and he's just like, oh no, my aunt and uncle are dead.
Yeah, he's like, there's nothing here for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
And then-
holy shit. Like
Then
Yes.
Obi-Wan
they
dies.
fought for you, dude. Especially like in this episode, like they were gonna fight to the death for Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to hate Uncle Owen because of just the snide like thing of what he said in episode 1, where he was just like, yeah, like you protected Anakin or whatever he said.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, like you trained his father.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, I want a reason to just like. Also, because the actor, I love the actor, but he always plays characters that I want to hate. And like, but in this, I'm like, no, they fought. They were gonna fight to the death.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Like you love him like he's your own. He
said,
is
yeah.
my own.
Yeah. That hurts so much more
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah,
episode 4.
especially episode 4, they talk about him like such a dick.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. In episode 4, they kind of positioned the uncle to just be like like
That's your uncle talking. Like,
like
Yeah.
the stepfather, the bad stepfather kind of trope of like, your mama's dead, now I'm not even your dad, so like I got stuck with you, you know, kind of stepfather trope.
And you can see he cares about him, but he's trying to protect Luke from himself. And, you know, he's like, I'll make it to him next season.
Yeah.
But it makes it even funnier when Lucas once thought that Obi-Wan and Owen were going to be brothers, because if you look at it from that context, you see like that brotherly this dispute about how to raise one's kids.
Yeah. Yeah. They should have pulled a Full House. You know what I mean? Like Obi, Owen, maybe Bale, just all living together, raising like Luke and Leia.
I'd watch
Maybe
that sitcom.
maybe Jar Jar pops up. You know, he lives next door.
we didn't get Jar Jar in this.
Jar Jar's Kimmy
Such a
Gibbler.
bummer.
You know,
That is the best casting of all time, man. It's perfect.
someone needs to put together some Photoshop of that. They would have been stronger together. I'm just saying. Mr. Plow
Everybody,
says it was weird that the Grand Inquisitor pulled a General Hux by telling Vader to stay on the bigger ship and not Obi-Wan. What does that mean? Like that the Grand Inquisitor would even like say something contrary to Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even though Vader has humbled the Grand Inquisitor,
Mhm.
they don't like each other. Like he knows his place,
Yeah.
but he's also just going to be like, you know, I'm going to say my piece.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it loudly. I'm not going to be like, you're an idiot if you did wrong, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if Vader just took out his lightsaber and stabbed him?
Just be like, now you have no stomachs.
Not
I just-
again.
I love the trope. Like, they should just keep doing that. Just keep stabbing the Grand Inquisitor and then have fans freak out because he's supposed to pop up in Rebels. And then he's just like, I'm cool. It's all good.
Nobody dies in this franchise.
He could toss him across the room. That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Just, boom.
Yeah. Isn't that what Kylo did to Hux?
Snoke did it to Hux. And
Kylo
Kylo lifted some random guy in 9.
He did it in Last Jedi when they're doing the Luke Skywalker scene. He's like, I want to do everything on that man.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
like Hux like saying shit, and he's like, he's like, right away.
Oh yeah,
Let you
yeah.
down.
Yeah, the other guy was like,
Yeah.
Don't-
I'm listening to you.
Mr. Plow says it was kind of weird that Bail Organa told Obi-Wan that he couldn't ever pay him back. Like, why not buy Obi-Wan a house? Like, I know it's
I was
a
gonna
joke,
say you could try.
but I don't think Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan wants his penance, right? Like, he wants to kind of live simple, right?
But we learned that lesson in episode 1. Republic credits are no good here. I need something more real. Tatooine's not a part of the Empire, so they wouldn't have the same credit system.
Oh, that's true. It's probably Hut currency or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Mr. Plow says Tala also gets shot in the stomach as well as Fennec Shand. Yeah, but they're not Force users. I think like if you have the Force, then like as long as your head doesn't get cut off, right?
I don't think there's any justification because like Boba Fett doesn't use the Force.
To coming back from the dead.
Yeah,
I mean, Fennec got her insides replaced, so I mean, she at least got that.
Yeah.
Tala was just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it before these troopers get here. Let me just do a little self-sacrifice.
Yeah. I think Obi-Wan wouldn't want to live in a life of luxury or a home. Though it is weird that he's been living in a cave with just a crate of his things. And that's it.
Then he leaves the crate behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of crate dragon. That's what they call
Crate
it.
Dragon.
Crate
But
dragon.
he wasn't dragging that crate.
No.
It's not even on crate, right?
Yeah, there's
It's on Tatooine.
there's the planet called Crate, and then there's the
a
Crate
planet called
dragon
Crate.
that's not on Crate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They should have planned this stuff out, man.
Yeah. Who would have thought? So what was I? So we get this final. Okay, so we get 2 goodbyes, right? Ish. We get Obi-Wan saying goodbye to Leia on Alderaan. I didn't expect him to go back to Alderaan. At this point,
Neither.
he's planet hopping. Why not just leave Tatooine? Like, what is the point anymore? Just hop around. Just like do random things, right?
I mean, he did in Legends when the situation called for it. So that's sort of similar to the same thing here because there's not there's an overarching threat to Luke, but there's nothing specific.
Right.
So like if the situation called for it, but unless that happens, he'd probably be drawing attention to himself because he's still Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Empire's reach is expanding. Like Bale was saying, they're getting bolder and stronger.
Right.
So if they did do a season 2, I don't see him leaving, but you don't necessarily have to have him leave. There was a story in Legends. There was a Jedi by the name of Asherad Het who survived Order 66. But his father was a Jedi and his father was a Tusken. And so he was raised as a Tusken. So he goes back to Tatooine, unites a bunch of the tribes and becomes a warring chieftain up until he comes up to the Lars homestead where he comes into conflict with Obi-Wan. And then Obi-Wan beats him and unmasks him in front of his people, which is the ultimate dishonor to Tuskens.
Yeah.
And then, he goes off somewhere, gets in stasis, and then meets Anakin's great-great-great-great-grandson, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Is that in Star Wars Legacy or whatever? What was it called?
Yep, Star Wars Legacy. That story's in Star Wars Legacy 16.
Oh, you just
Took some risks
you
with
just know
that
the
one.
issue?
I just read it earlier today.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy shit. That's like, I mean, it's kind of like when people quote the Bible and they're just like, blah, 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 3:14. And it's like, okay, cool. You just reciting it. I don't know if Obi-Wan's going to do a season 2 or not. Like, Disney loves to say limited series because then you can, for certain
Emmy
awards.
season.
Yeah. It's like there's a limited series category versus like a whatever series. So Moon Knight was also the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll wait for award season to finish and then they'll announce. It's kind of a bait and switch, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Moon Knight will get a season 2. This will get a season 2. Do we want a season 2?
I'd rather have a show focusing on the path, and have Obi-Wan have Ewan show up as Obi-Wan in like the Ahsoka series. If you decide to show like post Return of the Jedi Luke content training, or even Leia content and Force Ghost Obi-Wan shows up to talk to either one of them, like you have a lot of options there with Obi-Wan and Ewan.
I want Reva to help the path. Why not? Wouldn't that be a good kind of purpose for her? Helping the kids escape?
That can definitely be a part of her atonement, yeah.
Right.
So you'd like to see a like a spinoff as opposed to a second season?
I mean, that's what Chris is saying. I would be the same way. I don't think we need an Obi-Wan Kenobi show again, because I think that like kind of like how Marvel does things, or not like Marvel does things, I guess, in a way, but like you can have like random characters pop up in multiple things and it's still tying in the whole story. Like Ahsoka had a little story to tell in Mandalorian season 2, and then she's also in Boba Fett, and then she's going to be in Ahsoka. You can kind of mix and match and like, you know, have people pop in and out. Doesn't seem too bad.
I feel like a lot of the dialogue directed toward, what's his name, Roken,
Okay.
was hinting that we're going to see more of him talking about him being a leader and like we're just getting started sort of thing. I mean, that dialogue was picked for a reason, right? So maybe a show about the path and have Roken and Reva and whatever Maya Erskine's character.
Maya Erskine's character, whatever the name is.
Which, dude, side note, like she had like such a small part. It seems like almost a waste. Yeah.
We all thought, or I can't speak for we all. I was swayed to the idea that she would be Afra.
Same.
When she was announced, you know?
Yeah. I feel like she's a little too old to play her in this time period, right?
That's fair.
Yeah. In this time period, isn't she in their 20s? Maya Erskine's Maya.
I mean, I don't really know how old she is in the comics, but she seems like mid 20s, young 20s, and like during Empire Strikes Back time, at least is what it seems like to me.
Doesn't she pop
and
up?
Maya Erskine's already like what, like 40?
No, Maya Erskine is 35-ish.
Oh, hope she's not watching.
Oh no. TJ on YouTube says Vader looked weak, and I disagree.
I don't think so.
Just because you lose a fight doesn't mean you're weak.
Did you see how that man yeeted that pillar of rock like it was nothing? He just went.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna kind of battle for it, like it was just gonna be like, oh no, it's, and he was just like, boop.
Yeah.
Boop. We see Obi-Wan's goodbye with Leia, which was really nice. Leia has been the one of the best things about this show. And him going through the traits of each of the parents, it was sweet.
That hit hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone out there is adopted or didn't, you know what I mean? I'm sure that means a lot, right? Like, you don't know who your parents are, but then you like hear these things. But she knows who her parents are. Her parents are the Organas, right?
Right.
She knows. Yeah. That's her dad and her mom. She's okay with it.
That's what the camera work suggested for sure.
Yeah. You know? And then we get the Skyhopper model that's in A New Hope was from Obi-Wan. He gives it to Luke.
Yeah. They showed that in the first episode too, right?
And
really?
that's the thing Owen throws at him when he comes to confront him. Say, stay away from us, Ben.
Okay. And then final part, which I talked about a couple episodes ago. This was the part that like I wanted to cry on this. I was like, I didn't, but it got me. Qui-Gon's Force Ghost.
The return.
I didn't think it was going to happen at this point. Like, I thought it was going to happen earlier or whatever, or hint at something or whatever. And then I didn't expect it for it to happen in the last minute.
I said a few weeks ago on the Padawans podcast that the show, how I would end the show it's a parallel between Obi-Wan and Vader. Vader talking to Palpatine and Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon. So that parallel of talking to their masters. And I got it.
There you go.
Hire me, Disney, and I'll
Yes.
stop spilling your secrets.
I love it. I love it when you can call that. Like years ago when I was watching Apocalypto, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if like he finishes this and then Cortez shows up? That's exactly what happens in Apocalypto. I'm like, there's only one way to end Apocalypto, and that's how it works. So in this, you called it, Chris. Does Palpatine just make fun of Vader? What does he say at the end of this?
It's more of like a threat.
Like, is
Because
Obi-Wan gonna be a problem?
more like, are you not gonna stay focused on what we have to do, because Obi-Wan's not an issue. But if you're gonna be focused on him, you're gonna have an issue, and the issue is me.
Yeah. 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 You're right. I didn't realize the mirroring of Palpatine and the mirroring of that. So Palpatine and
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Yeah. Is there anything more to say about Qui-Gon other than saying he's always been there?
It feels like there were a lot of things the show had to do, and they saved it all for like the last 4 minutes. Oh, hello there. Here's Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Now Obi-Wan's got to meet Luke so Luke can say whatever. So it feels like they just kind of like just wanted to put it there just for it to be there, to not have people I don't know.
I don't
riot.
care if people say it's fan service. I am the fan being serviced.
Yeah. I think I liked it. I was happy to see him.
I don't think anyone
it was kind of
is going to complain. You think it's empty having Qui-Gon?
Sure. Yeah.
I think he's gonna go talk with him. I wanted, like,
you're right.
I wanted a deep philosophical conversation between Qui-Gon and Obi, and how like, why did you make the choices that you did, Qui-Gon? We could have just left him on Tatooine. Like they could have had a deep conversation. It could have been a whole episode, you know?
So there is a part of that has happened in a book, but it happens prior to A New Hope, like not too long before A New Hope. And Qui-Gon knows that Obi-Wan is about to die. So he's like, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. We'll have that conversation then.
Can ghosts talk to each other?
Yeah, because they're essentially one with the Force, so they retain their consciousness.
Yeah.
So they can all chill and talk. And that's sort of like, I think that's the assumed explanation as to why Anakin is able to show up as a Force ghost, is because that happened.
Yeah. Did they vote him in? They were like, hey, should we allow Anakin to chill with us? And I'm like,
And somewhere Mace Windu is shouting, no.
again,
no.
not again. Oh, Mace was right the whole time. I mean, he was kind of an asshole about it, but still, he was right.
Hey, sometimes someone needs a stern hand.
Right. Man. I didn't expect to see Qui-Gon at this point, and I was like, okay, I'm glad.
Really? They were
Not in the last minute.
They kept
minute.
But they kept talking. It was always going to happen. Come on.
Okay.
I knew they were going to show him in this episode.
Mr. Plow says, was Qui-Gon the first to Force Ghost?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Previous to Qui-Gon, all the Jedi, none of the Jedi Force Ghosted?
We have no information to say otherwise, so we know that Qui-Gon started his journey talking to the Wills. Yoda was the next person, and then Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon helped Yoda along the way for his training, and Qui-Gon was able to continue his training during that time, and that's why he was able to manifest himself as a Force ghost.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Any final thoughts about Star Wars or this show or Star Wars in general, and like what we're hoping to kind of get as fans? This is the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi Aftershow, so get it all out here.
I look forward to rewatching this show all together. Just taking a Saturday or a Sunday and just watching it all the way through.
It shouldn't be that much. I'm looking at the times, and it's
It should be around 4.5, 5 hours, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's 55 minutes, 41, 47, 40, or after 47, it's 38, 42, 51.
Yeah, it's probably not even 5
So it's hovering around a 40-minute average, right?
Yeah, you get the, let's call it 5.5 for bathroom breaks, making food,
right?
Getting your snacks,
right. If you're eating a soup, you might have to, you might spill it, you might need clean up time.
Take a 30-minute intermission after episode 3.
Right.
Walk, stretch, walk around, work out that Charlie horse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot. So I get that. That's a Saturday or Sunday. I'm with you. What's next? Andor, right?
Yep.
Andor's next.
Okay. I'm excited, but it's also the same thing. It's the same thing. We know what happens. Right?
I think it's interesting with a different world to explore than Obi-Wan. This one was more of a character study, and I guess you'll get that as well with Andor, but it's also seeing that separatist to rebel pipeline and seeing the nitty-gritty side of the rebellion that we see in Rogue One, but that we don't see in the original trilogy. Because when you think of the rebels, you're like, oh, they're the good guys, but war will make a bad guy out of anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be some scummy people in Andor.
Mm-hmm. Or people willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. Yeah. You brought up Iden Versio earlier. I want her to pop up soon. She needs to pop up in Mandalorian, I think. Like that's
and the actress said she wanted to.
She's great, by the way.
Yeah.
Heard. Should be cool.
Yeah.
Some of the aftermath characters would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we get Singer and Ray Sloan, would be awesome.
I want Lobaka to come back. I want a Jedi Wookiee. Give me a Jedi Wookiee. Come on.
Hey, if he makes it out of the Bad Batch season 2, Gunji could be around and kicking.
All right. Thank you guys so much for doing this Obi-Wan Kenobi After Show, specifically episode 6. Thank you to everybody out there who is watching this show. If you're watching this show, you're watching us on volume.com/The Keeg Show or twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. Pretty much The Keeg Show everywhere. If you are listening to us, you couldn't see our faces, but that's okay. You were listening to our voices. You are listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Maybe some more apps. Who knows? I don't know. There's a couple out there that we may or may not be on. If you're on social media, you can find us on social media wherever you get your social media: TikTok, Instagram. Those are our main ones. At The Keeg Show. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on all that. So just find us where you want to find us. I want to thank Matt for being my co-host this run of this Star Wars show. Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, Matthew A. Maury. Or then the Andor show.
When are we gonna dress you up in a Star Wars cosplay? When are we gonna do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know who I would. Who would I dress up? I don't know.
Whoever you want.
Whatever you want. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nobody I would really want to dress up as.
Okay. I'm sure we'll find. No, Cobb Vanth, dude. You would totally do Cobb Vanth.
Vanth.
Okay, you might be onto something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see Cobb Vanth.
You would totally do Cobb Vanth.
Costumes aren't really my thing.
I know they're not.
So
I know they're not, but one of these days we're gonna get you in costume.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you, Matt, for being the co-host
Sure.
for this.
Thank you.
And thank you, Chris, so much for coming on here. I know it's late or early or whatever it is. It's 3 hours ahead for you.
Yes.
Where can people find you online? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am Star Wars Lawyer on most all social media sites that you may use, except for Facebook. Things that I'm working on. I have a Vader cosplay fund because I'm working on getting a screen accurate suit.
Really?
Yes. So
Okay.
we're working on that. And I have a podcast, Too Black, Too Nerdy. Our next episode will come out next Tuesday, which is an interview with Shadow of the Sith author Adam Christopher.
Oh, nice.
You getting authors up in there?
Mm.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any like OC characters, like or original characters that you created that you would cosplay as?
I mean, there's a story that's in my head that I could write that I just haven't gotten to because I come up with other ideas and I want to write those first.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not OC, but there was an artist who did concept art for post Tross, like Rey, Finn, Janna. And so I'm commissioning the Finn portion of it and working on that.
All right.
And let's see, I can pull it up. I have it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, that hurts me. That hurts me just to look at. It hurts.
We'll get it one day.
We're gonna get it.
Justice.
It's gonna happen.
You know, like justice for Finn.
Justice for Finn.
I don't know. Justice for Finn. Thank you, Chris, for coming on this. Thank you, Matthew, for being my co-host. Thank you to everybody out there watching or listening or doing your thing. Stay tuned. We got Miss Marvel after show coming tomorrow and however many episodes after that. We got the Keegbacks on Fridays. We got Comic Talk on Thursdays. We got the Keeg Talks on most Saturdays. We do a lot of things. If you want to find out the Keeg schedule, Instagram is probably the easiest way to keep track of the Keeg schedule at The Keeg Show on Instagram. Other than that, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so definitely stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being on here. Once again, I'm your host, Demetri Pereira, and this has been the Obi-Wan Kenobi After Show for Episode 6. This is the end. Take care. Bye.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat